The last time Jordan Poole played at the Chase Center, how about 5 triples in the Warriors' Game 2 win? Poole becoming the youngest player in NBA history to hit at least 5 threes in a finals game, and much more on Jordan Poole tonight. Let's go to Greeny and the NBA Countdown crew.
Welcome back to San Francisco and ESPN's continuing coverage of Game 5 of the NBA Finals. We are outside and getting ready to count you down to the critical Game 5 with the series tied at 2 games apiece. And, of course, here in Golden State, Jordan Poole will be a huge part of the action. In Game 2, he had 5 threes in the Warriors' win. He became the youngest player in Finals history to make 5 threes in a game, surpassing Penny Hardaway back in 1995. And here, just hours before tip-off of Game 5, Jordan Poole is good enough to stop by and chat with us for a few moments. Jordan, we very much appreciate you taking the time. It is your 3rd season, but your first NBA Finals. How has this experience compared to what you imagined it would be?
It's been amazing. It's been fantastic to be a part of, being able to play basketball at the highest level with the best basketball players in the world, and taking it all in and embracing it.
Jordan, everybody's enamored by the Splash Brothers and the pool party, and rightfully so. You guys' three-point shooting is outstanding when you get going. But when I talked to Jaylen Brown about something they should take away from you guys if they're going to win, he said your layups. So I ask you now, after 4 games, if you guys are going to win this series, name one thing you must take away from the Boston Celtics.
Offensive rebounds. They're a physical team, and as long as we can keep them off the glass, we have a really good chance. And not giving them second chance points and giving them chances to get going after initial stops.
Jordan, veteran guys like Steph and Clay can go to the coach at this point of their careers and say, hey, I need to have more of fill in the blank, whatever it is. But how does a young player like yourself, and the team clearly wanted to go to you early in Game 4, but how does a young guy go about that, or do you just let it go and not mention it at all?
At this point in the season, this is about winning, and you trust the coaching staff and everybody who's making decisions, and you just got to be ready to make an impact whenever you get that opportunity. And I feel like I've been doing that all season, all playoffs, and whenever my number's called, just being ready to step up and make big plays.
Jordan Poole, you've had some spectacular moments this season. There's no doubt about that. But you're playing alongside the greatest shooting backcourt in the history of basketball, the greatest shooter I've ever seen in my life is Steph Curry, one of the top 5 shooters of all time in Klay Thompson. Can you speak to what you've learned from them, particularly during this stretch playoff run, and what kind of advice that they've given you?
Just stick to exactly what you do, your routines, and it's the highest level of basketball, so there are going to be shots that you take that you normally make that you might not, but just keep firing, keep being aggressive, and you wouldn't be out there on the court if you weren't a factor, and that's something that they told me. And being able to go out there and just be a threat offensively and make plays on both sides of the ball is something that they continue to tell me to do.
Jordan, the Celtics are a great defensive team, but yesterday you said you think the Warriors are about to go have an offensive explosion. What made you feel that way? Why do you think your team is about to break out?
Just being able to get 4 games under our belt and then come back home, after winning a big game on the road. And I think guys are just more locked in, and being able just to try to execute. And I think we all know how important this game is, and especially our vets and our leaders. So they're going to do a really good job of putting us in a position to step up.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Jordan, I'm curious, when you look at the Boston Celtics, can you speak to what you guys have faced going up against them in this NBA Finals compared to what you saw from everybody else you went against during the Western Conference playoffs?
In just terms of general?
Yes.
Defensively, I think it stands out the most. They're able to switch 1-5, and they have really good rim protectors, and they got guys who can get going, and they're really connected on the defensive end, and they're just a really talented team. And we wouldn't be in this position right there with them if they weren't. And you got to find ways to just make adjustments and continue to keep them on their heels and try to win games.
And Jalen Rose, that the uniform he's got on there, it's a little like Michigan colors, isn't it, right? The two of you feeling pretty comfortable, aren't you?
Absolutely. No question. Go blue. But I have to ask you about a guy that played in Lansing, Draymond Green. We talked about the Splash Brothers' influence on you. What about Draymond's influence and how productive you're going to need him to be if you guys are going to win the championship this year?
Draymond is just as big as a part of our team as anybody else, and I think everybody knows that. And just the energy and the fight and the grit that he plays with, especially in the finals. You need all of the energy and extra possessions and competitive edge that you can get, and he does an amazing job of bringing that. And I don't expect anything less from him tonight, being able just to step up in a big moment and under the bright lights, and he'll definitely show up for sure.
Well, Jordan, we very much appreciate you making this time on a game night. Your birthday is Sunday, so maybe you'll be playing for a championship or maybe you'll be celebrating one already. Best of luck tonight, and thank you for doing this.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right, that is Jordan Poole. Again, he and the Golden State Warriors getting set to go. These fans are excited. We're here in San Francisco, and we are counting it down to Game 5 of the NBA Finals all evening long.
Thank you, by the way.
Series shifts back to San Francisco tonight. When it comes to their big three, they should be getting it. Getting while the getting is good. Boston's in the building, though. With another win, it would be Steph, Clay, and Draymond's 20th finals win, most by an all-NBA trio in the last 50 seasons. But, of course, to do that, how about a little help from your friend Steph Curry? He's done everything he can to keep these Warriors afloat. He's averaging nearly 35 a game. His supporting cast hasn't been there yet. The rest of the Warriors' primary starting five averaging a tick over 45 points a game. What? Off the bench, Jordan Poole averaging 12.5 points a game right now. NBA Countdown crew will be joined by Jordan Poole in just a little bit. A little bit of a bittersweet day, though, an anniversary for Klay Thompson. Today marks the 3-year anniversary of him tearing his ACL in Game 6 of the 2019 Finals. It's a day that shifted the course of Warriors history. They lost Game 6. The Raptors clinched the title in their final game ever at Oracle Arena. Klay joined Malika Andrews to talk about the long journey back to the Finals.
Out to Klay for three, and that could be a huge dagger. The embers of the dynasty still glowing.
Klay, before this all started, you told me that you might enjoy this finals maybe even more than the previous ones just because of what you've been through the past 2 years. Now that you're in it, how does it feel?
Nothing short of amazing, to be honest. I mean, it's just a joy to be here because last year during this time, it was an empty arena. It was very quiet, and you could hear a pin drop. So to now see the other side of the spectrum, it's just a special, special moment.
Boating, spending time in the ocean, that's been something that you found. What part of you needed that heading into this week?
Well, I've always been an enthusiast of the water. Anytime you do something in nature, you kind of just forget about anything that was weighing you down, and there's just something so freeing about being in the open ocean. It's almost as good as hearing that ball swish through the net, just hearing the waves crashing down.
Man, closed mouth is not an option, so I shoot my shot like Klay Thompson down.
You have made 73s in this postseason. Steph Curry has made 73s in this postseason. You all have done that 3 such times in your career. You're the first pair of teammates to do that.
Wow.
We've seen the stats, but your relationship off of the court, can you shed some light on that?
We really didn't get to know each other till about our 3rd year in the league. We're both very quiet, and I think this trip with USA Basketball to Spain, we played a lot of golf. We drank some sangria in Barcelona, and I think he'll say the same, but that summer of 2014 kind of glued us together, and we just became good friends after that. And there's a lot of things we do on the court that just seems to be in sync with each other, and we don't even think about it. It's just like second nature.
Back to Thompson, quick release, puts it in. Back out to Thompson, another three. It's good.
Bombing away from 3 like we do kind of flipped the basketball world upside down, and I think we're seeing that at all levels of basketball now, which a lot of people say it's ruined the game, but I think it's kind of just been an innovative aspect of the game, to be honest.
A lot has been made of Game 6 Klay, but we've seen Game 5 Klay. What are you doing to prepare to unleash that kind of performance?
Man, I wish I could do that nightly, but for me, it's hard to go out there and say I'm going to score 40. My game's not like that. I go with the flow, and if the ball finds me, I'm going to let it fly. And I've heard Tiger Woods say that he visualizes every single shot he shoots on the golf course. I try to apply the same method to basketball, and just envisioning my footwork and my body position, and that ball just flowing off my fingertips and hearing the swish of the net.
Bang! It's just purity. Splash! It's a work of art.
You said that Steph Curry, he's this team's identity. What are you to this team?
I guess I'm a fixture, a steady presence of a dynastic run. I've never been the one to seek the headlines or the spotlight. I just love winning, and I love being a part of a winning organization. We're really trying to write a legacy here and just leave a long-lasting impression of greatness of basketball in the Bay Area.